surface of our modern oceans lies a forgotten history, a legacy not ruled by dinosaurs or towering creatures of the land, but by monsters of the deep. For 400 million years, the oceans were a battleground, a shifting throne, and every throne demands a ruler. From armored titans forged in the Devonian depths, to serpentine reptiles of the Cretaceous, to the colossal sharks and whales of the Miocene. Each dynasty rose to power, and each fell in blood and extinction. This is not the story of evolution. This is the story of tyrants, a chronicle written in bone and ruled by the strongest jaws the planet has ever known.
A king falls. A tyrant rises. This is the one eternal law of the ancient seas. The throne of the deep does not tolerate a vacuum. It demands a ruler. It demands power. When a mosasaurus skeleton dissolves into the sediment, a new shadow passes over the bones. This is not a history of species. It is a chronicle of dynasties. It begins with fish. This was not an age of mammals or reptiles. It was the age of fish. The oceans were a new frontier, an evolutionary arena. The first true throne was forged. The predators were simple, armored, and brutal.
They were the placoderms.
From this armored horde, one fighter rose to domination. It's a creature of terrible, absolute power, Dunkleosteus. This 10-ton behemoth was the first true apex predator. It has defined the concept of a sea tyrant precisely. Its ray was absolute. This is the arena. The Devonian Ocean was a cauldron of evolution. An arms race exploding in real time. Survival was measured in two competing equations. Armor or jaws. The small fry, the trilobites, hid in the mud. The earl sharks, the cladocelaceae, were fast. They were agile. But they were not rulers. true power belonged to the placoderms, the armored fish. In this kingdom of armor, a new weapon was evolving. The jaw. Dunkleosteus did not just have armor. It turned armor into a weapon. It becomes a monster designed to break down the very defenses that defined its era. It's a tyrant created to destroy other tyrants. This world was not just dangerous, it was alien. A place where the ocean itself was the antagonist. A head encased in 6-foot plates of solid bone. It was the armored tyrant. But its true genius was its weapon system. Dunkleosteus had no teeth. Something far worse. Its jaws were two self-championing, armor-piercing bone blades. The upper fang fit into a notch in the lower jaw. Every time it closed its mouth, it sharpened its own daggers.
The dagger and keen jaws slammed shut, demonstrating the brutal efficiency of the bone blades against the Colostosteus's armor.
But speed was its secret. It can open its mouth in 1/50th of a second. This makes for a devastating sucker punch. Prey was not just bitten, it was inhaled. The blade slammed shut with 80,000 pounds of force per square inch. This weapon system was built with one purpose in mind. It was the perfect killing machine for the Devonian arena. Perfection has a price. This tyrant was so effective, so dominant, that it had no rivals.
The deep ocean holds its secrets closely, a realm of immense pressure.
One. Itself. The real struggle of this dynasty is a civil war. They are punctured. They are scarred. This is not predatory behavior. This was not predation. The only only creature that could challenge a tyrant. Was another tyrant. This brutal internal conflict defined the end of its reign. But it was not the killing blow. The fall came from the planet itself. A Class I reset. The Endovonian mass extinction. The world's oxygen vanished from the sea. The entire Placoderm dynasty, the armored rulers. They, and many others, were wiped from the earth. The throne was, for the first time, left empty. The great dying. The Permian extinction reset the entire planet.
It was a new world.
A new arena.
And the Empt Throne called for new rulers. The Reptile Empire.
This second dynasty would rule for over 150 million years.
The first contenders were the Ichthyosaurs.
Rulers like the giant, toothless Shonisaurus. They were challenged by the Battle of the Titans. The Plesiosaurs.
Predator X, Plesiosaurus funkei, a monster of the northern seas.
It battled the specialist ichthyosaurs, like Temnodontosaurus.
The throne was held, and lost, and held again. But as the Cretaceous dawned, the pliosaurs and ichthyosaurs faded. A mid-Cretaceous turnover cleared the way for the final heir, the serpent jaws. The mosasaurs. It was not a shark.
It was not a dinosaur.
It was a 50-foot marine lizard.
The mosasaurus had a double-hinged jaw, like a snake.
It can bend its skull to swallow its giant prey. It even had a second set of teeth on its palate. The pterygoid teeth to ratchet prey down its throat.
It was a dynasty of serpents that ruled the Cretaceous Seaway.
until 66 million years ago.
The KP extinction.
The reptile empire was annihilated. The slate was wiped clean.
A Class I reset again.
The throne was vacant.
The seas were empty.
The first new tyrant to claim the throne was Basilosaurus. A primitive, serpentine whale.
Fossil evidence shows it hunted smaller whales, the Troodon.
But this is just the beginning. The true climax of this 400-million-year war
was the Miocene.
The throne was so contested, it was shared. Two coexisting ultimate rulers. In one corner, the Cutter. Otodus Megalodon.
A 67-foot shark.
Its weapon was the one-bite kill. Seven-inch serrated teeth designed to sever fins and crush bone.
It was a generalist.
In the other corner, the Crusher. Leviathan melvillei. A 57-foot sperm whale. Six-centimeter spikes in both jaws. This was not a filter feeder. This was a brawler. Reduced to mid-level prey for these two giants. Thus was the final, greatest battle for the Tyrant's throne. The battle ended. Leviathan, the Crusher, vanished as the world cooled. Megalodon, the Cutter, was the last survivor. It held the throne until just 3.6 million years ago. Its extinction marks the end of the Tyrants' chronicle.
The throne of the deep is never empty for long.
Each dynasty is just a placeholder for the next monster. A 400-million-year war, written in bone. Which monster is the real Lord of the Seas to you?
Whose survival chronicle should we reconstruct next?
Nominate a new paleontological record in the comments.